So I had to come on and share a really cool story of something that happened for me when I was in Hawaii. And a lot of you know and read my post about how uh, I decided to go snorkeling with the manta ray, and that it was kind of scary, and because it was at nighttime and it was in the ocean. And but I wanted to do this because I heard that that was like the top thing to do on the big island of Hawaii. And so I was like, no, I'm doing it. So I did it. I not only did it once, but I did it twice because I extended my stay, and my son flew out, and I wanted him to experience that magical, um, fun thing. So anyway, so this is not what this video is about. I fell in love with the manta rays, so I really wanted a stuffed animal manta ray because I just like stuffed animals. Not all the time, not of everything, but just some things that I just fall in love with. Like I have a koala bear from when I went to Sydney, Australia. When I went to the koala bear rescue out by the Blue Ridge Mountains. For those of you who are from Australia, hi. And then I have a teddy bear from Paris because many of you guys know I love Paris. I'm a Francophile. And then I wanted a stuffed animal manta ray because these are things that I just really find enduring experiences that I had. So I looked for an entire week because I only planned there to stay a week. I looked for an entire week. I went around the entire island of Hawaii, and I was stopped in a lot of stores, and I did a lot of touristy things and non-touristy things, and there's nowhere. It's like I couldn't even find a sticker. And you'd think because manta ray are so popular on that island that I would find a ton of stuff. I went to farmers markets. I went to little shops. I saw so many things, but I couldn't find what I wanted, a stuffed animal manta ray. I saw like pictures, here and there, but, nothing that was super cool. So the week flew by, and I dropped my friend off at the airport. She flew home, and then I had the whole day still to have fun with. And when I was driving back to the hotel, I thought, I never found my stuffed animal manta ray, and I was like, what a bummer. At that point, nowhere on my radar did I think I sucked as a manifester, or that I don't get what I want, or I didn't start saying, poor me. No, I was just like, oh, I just thought about it. And I had set the intention like, no, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find one. I'm going to find one. And I didn't. And I was leaving in a few hours. Then very last minute, I decided to book a flight for my son to fly out to Hawaii, and I extended my stay another week because I was just having such an amazing time, and I just fell in love with going back. I had been in Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii years ago when I was a flight attendant, but I lived on Oahu, and I hadn't been back to Hawaii for years, and I had gone so many times that I thought there's so much more to the world to see than going back to the same place. So I hadn't gone back for years. So it was so wonderful to go back again. And I had such an amazing time. It was so nice to not be on social media, to not, just to live, just to exist. And so anyway, so I decided to extend my trip for a week, right? And well, I realized that while I had all the flights arranged, I had no hotel. So I got online and I started looking for a hotel. And I said, okay, this is super last minute. So I was not going to be super picky with where I was going to stay, because I'm like, hey, I'm happy that I get to stay, and I'll find something. I'll find a hotel. No big deal. And so I found a hotel, like really last minute. And I thought, you know what, this one, this is good. The one that I chose is good. It had, some of the basic things that I wanted to make sure that I had, and I was like, okay, and it's on a different part of the island. I said, perfect, because then I'll get to experience a different side, or a different area rather, of the island. So I got in the car and I started driving to the hotel. And I checked into the hotel, and it's like gorgeous, like when you walk in and everything. And then the lady pointed me to my room, and she said, don't stop at the first tower. You need to walk past the first one and go to the second tower. And I said, okay. So I start walking to the hotel room, and the first thing I see is like a mini mart that sells food and snacks and stuff, and like a gift store. And I walked in there, and I'm like, oh, let me go see what snacks and stuff, and we can grab some stuff to put in my room. And I walk, and I open the door, and the very first thing that I see is this massive, massive display of only manta ray stuff. We're talking the stuffed animal. Yes, of course I bought it. Stuffed animals piled up in a basket. There was manta ray earrings, postcards, towels, like knickknacks, statues, you name it. It was shirts, sweatshirts, everything. Manta ray, manta ray, manta ray, manta ray. And then I was like, oh, I grabbed my stuffed animal, and then I was like, all right, yay. I was so excited. And I kept looking around the store, and I was like, manta ray this, manta ray that, manta ray this. And then I leave the shop, and I start walking towards my room. And then I notice that the towers say, each tower is named Manta 1, and then there was Manta 2, or Manta 3, I think. And I was like, it didn't register yet. I kept walking past Manta Tower 1, and I see a big sign, and it says, with an arrow, Manta Ray Viewing. And I'm like, Manta Ray Viewing site. And I'm like, what? And then I look closer, and it goes down this long pathway to the ocean front, because the hotel was on the ocean. And it was a viewing site for manta rays. And there was all these pictures. There was this whole host area to sit there and read about manta rays. And then you walk out to the end where it's dark, and then they have this big spot floodlight that's pointing to the ocean so that you can see the manta rays swimming around. I was like, no freaking way. I was like, oh my God. And then I realized, wait, this whole freaking hotel is manta ray themed. It's Manta Tower 1, Manta Tower 2. Then I go to my room, I open the door, and guess what? Yep, the whole freaking room is decorated with pictures of manta rays all over the walls. Even that little sign that goes on the door for do not disturb, because I'm too busy dreaming of manta rays. I should have snagged that one. I should have kept that one. But anyway, even the door sign, I was just like, this is insane. This is like, what the hell's happening here, right? And then, yes, there's more. And then I booked the second snorkeling trip to go to manta rays. And I went out of my way to make sure that I booked the same manta ray excursion that I had gone on the week prior, because I had such a wonderful experience with the entire tour and boat. It was just perfect. And I really wanted to go on that one again, because there's like, I don't know, there's like 20 different tour groups that'll take you on their boats to swim with the manta ray. And you don't even have to go on a tour. You could just, if you have a snorkel mask, you can go out there if you dare to do it by yourself. But I wanted to go on a tour. So I went out of my way, even looked at my emails like 3 times to make sure I was booking the same tour as the last one. I book it, blah, blah, blah. A couple days later, it's time to go. We drive over to the harbor to get on a boat, and it turns out it was a different tour. And at first I was disappointed because I really wanted the other tour. And I thought, well, this is a bummer. And I caught myself being a little complainy. And I said, girl, I'm going to have a different experience. It's not the same one. I'm going to have a different experience. I'm so happy that I'm even here and getting to do this. And I noticed that when I was complaining, that immediately was getting reflected back to me with like a crew member of that boat that I was like, she was kind of salty. Anyway, I picked that up, and so I stopped myself. I said, enough. You are causing this. And so this is what's going on in my head. I turned around and looked at my son, and he was having an entirely different experience. He was busy looking at, on the left side of the boat was the sun setting in the water because it was at sunset. And on the right side of the boat, he was looking at a double rainbow. And I'm sitting there going, it's not the same tour. And then I finally said, okay, enough. You're chill the hell out. I turn around and look at him, and he was like in heaven. He was like he was having a moment, okay? And then I finally looked and I said, holy crap, look what I was missing out on because of what I was doing up here. And so I immediately shifted out of that, and I said, no, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to enjoy this. And I was just like, oh my God, this is like so gorgeous. I'm so glad that we took that boat because they took us a different direction, and it left at a different time. The other one left at night. This one left at sunset. I would have missed out on this beautiful rainbow, this beautiful sunset. It was just magical. Then it was time for the boat to dock. They anchored into the water. And they anchored into the water, and where we were going to get out and snorkel to see the manta ray. And I look up, and my son says, oh my God. And I said, what? He said, look at where we're docking. And I looked, and it was our hotel. We were docked in front of the hotel we were staying at to see the manta ray. So I wanted to share this wonderful, beautiful story because I hope that you hear it not once, but a couple times, to hear all the little nuggets that are in there. And I don't share a lot of, my stories because that's not the point of this channel, right? That's not the point of this. It's to show you, right, where your true power lies. I didn't affirm, I wasn't affirming, wasn't visualizing, I wasn't in sats. I wasn't trying to make anything happen. Instead, I had just decided that I was going to get a stuffed animal because I wanted one. I just wanted one. And when I noticed I didn't have one, all of us within like 2 hours, everything that I thought it was going to happen that night changed. Instead of flying home, I ended up booking another week's stay. And then that led me to experience the new hotel where I had my stuffed animal, where the entire hotel was themed with manta rays. I got to see manta rays like every single day. And the entire experience happened just for me. So it went from just wanting a little stuffed animal to, well, he's kind of big, but from wanting a stuffed animal to this entire experience, it just blew up. It's like the whole experience, like farted a rainbow glitter for me of manta rays. It's like, there's no way I could have imagined all of that. There's no way that I could have affirmed for that. There's no way that I could figure out how all of that could have happened. Do you see? That's why you want to just know that your higher self knows so much more than you do. Because a lot of people say, well, I want to insist on the how. I want to insist on the timeline. And I'm like, my friends, if that's you, you're probably not going to like this channel. Because I don't focus on techniques and timelines and deadlines and all of that stuff. And yes, I'm talking about manta rays, and some of you are worried about rent and healthcare and those kind of things. But when you start separating one desire from another, You're the one compartmentalizing. You're the one saying that's easy or that's nice or whatever. You're the one compartmentalizing if that's where your mind went. Because remember, to source, the impersonal God, the impersonal source, it doesn't see any difference between one desire and the other. Everything is available to you now, but how are you allowing things to show up, and how are you just being still? Like, I just went with whatever my heart was showing me in that moment. I just allowed myself to have the desire that I wanted. And one thing it just blew up so fast in such a beautiful, magical way. And it's way better than I could have imagined. Way better. I could have insisted that I found it at a souvenir shop at the airport or whatever, but no. Do you see? I just know that if I have a desire that it is taken care of, I don't hold on to it with a death grip. I just allow it, and I just know. And I encourage you, and I intend that this story was like, it really shifts you into understanding the power that is within you. And it's not in technique, and it's not in affirming, and it is not in how perfect you visualize, right? But it is understanding that you've always been manifesting, like I said in today's video. We've all been manifesting, and that's all we do. We already know how to do it. You're just focusing your attention and removing your attention from unwanted thoughts, feelings, and circumstances. You're removing your energy. You're just like saying no thank you. Doesn't matter how hard or how difficult the circumstance is, you're just removing it. You're like, no. And you're being still because you've already made your decision. You've already made it. And that's the practice. It's not even persisting or efforting. It's like, to me, persisting and just all these words that are getting thrown out in videos, conviction, persisting, having, trying, you must, I have to, I will. All of that just seems so forceful. And if that works for you, cool. Right, but that's just not how I see it. That's not who that power within us is so much bigger than what we think we are. Our little tiny brains can only see so much. Our little tiny eyeballs isn't limited to what's in the room in front of you, right? And that authority and that power within you wants to give you everything, and has already lined up everything for you. If you get out of the way, that's it. You are getting out of the way. You get out of the way and you let it. You allow everything to unfold beautiful. But every time you ask, where is it? How long? But I've tried, but this, but that, that's not allowing. You're back in. You're being controlled by your thoughts. You're being controlled by your feelings. You're being controlled by the conditions in your life. You are being controlled. And when you're still, you are in control. And that's the message today. All right, my loves. See you soon. Bye.